Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, just diddling my touchpad there to make sure everything is fair and square on my screen over here. I did a very stupid thing tonight. Diana mentioned the C word, and I kept thinking, yeah, that sounds good. The C word, of course, being coffee. So I've actually been injecting myself, by way of the mouth, espresso. I have maybe a shot and a half in me right now. Not a good thing. Not just because I haven't been drinking coffee every day, but it's also later into the evening, just before I'm streaming TLDR for everybody, the LockerGnome Daily Report. You never really know what's going to happen here. It's largely dictated by you. The course of this particular video. It's an AMA every day, a Q&A with you and me. You can join Discord chat by either becoming a sub of mine on Twitch. You can do that for free potentially, but you have to manually renew every month. Like 10 of y'all. It's great to have had you as subs, but you've lost access to the Discord chat room because you let your subscription lapse. You want access to the community? You gotta become a sub of mine on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo, or a patron of mine, patreon.com/Chris Pirillo. You can do both. I know, mind-blowing, but it's true. You can do both. We're going to be using Twitch again tonight, not just to record the podcast, but to bring back CPU. Remember CPU? Chris Pirillo Universe. Chris Pirillo, you decide what the U is short for. CPU this time around is going to be Chris Pirillo Uncensored. Because we had such a fun time yesterday doing that. I was just dropping certain words that I'm not going to mention in this particular broadcast, left and right, and the community loved it. They were eating it up. So, I've got a weird ghost in here. Did you hear something? I thought I heard something. Maybe it was the dog farting. I don't know. Did you? Something.
That's probably what it was.
I hear it again. Some echo on the mic. Now, Pixie, what the hell did you eat? So, thank you for joining us for this live broadcast. I'm very happy to report that we effectively have not gone to the right live video page. I need to be able to read YouTube chat. But the live YouTube video that I was just viewing right there from yesterday was effectively munged. And I mentioned this in today's Chris Pirillo video about Siri versus Google Assistant. And after that broadcast, or after that video, effectively it was fixed. YouTube fixed it. I filed a report. They never ran into the bug before. But last night's live video stream has been published. The iPhone X fund, we're about halfway there, oddly enough. So if you do want to be a part of that and get your name in the credits for the iPhone X, we're halfway there. If you want to do a super chat during this live broadcast, cool. We already have our first super chat from Jesse Alvarez. If you want your super chat to be applied to the iPhone X fund, just do hashtag iPhone X or something like that to indicate that your super chat's going to that. If you are so inclined, you can head over to go.tagjag.com/devicefund. That's got our current tally in it. We've been calculating because we have to make sure we've got all the funds covered, minus all the fees, minus all the taxes, minus all the things that we have to calculate for. So we're doing our best for you. Zach Berjawi requested that we give you a week to potentially fund the iPhone X. So I'm doing that for you. I really am. I haven't backtracked. I still don't want the iPhone X, folks. I don't. Thank you, not for wanting me to want the iPhone X, but for giving me potentially an opportunity to look at the iPhone X. Today, the iPhone was not a subject of conversation because OnePlus launched their 5T. And there was also found another security problem that was kind of a head scratcher. OnePlus is kind of becoming synonymous with security issues in Android. I hope they really get to addressing that sooner rather than later. I haven't heard back from OnePlus, so the chances of me getting a review unit are between slim and razor, which is to say slim and none. I doubt we'd be doing device drives for those. If you want to, we can try. I'd be shocked if you would want to. So I'm probably not going to be pursuing those outright because there's no possible way I could recoup the cost. Everyone thinks I'm just able to recoup the costs and it's magic like that, but that's not how it goes. I rely on the kindness of the community and green tea.
Someone just said, how do you listen to podcasts? I don't know what.
How do you visit the podcast?
Listen to podcasts.
Well, I tweeted out the link. Oh, I didn't tweet out the link for today's teaser, did I? I did for yesterday's. You can listen to it at any podcasting application. iTunes has podcasts. Google Play has got my podcast listed. Spotify doesn't carry my podcast to my knowledge. what's another place? I linked them all on Twitter. Every time let me go ahead and mute this. Every time I publish a podcast, I need to remember to effectively tease it on Twitter so you can, click to the various links. Anchor.fm/Chris Pirillo is probably the most convenient way of listening to the podcast. The knock that you heard on my phone here was the system telling me that my Amazon order of Star Wars Battlefront 2 has shipped. So I'm getting Star Wars Battlefront 2 minutes before beginning this broadcast. I got Battlefront news. It popped up into my social feed. I tweeted it out from @StarWarsRadar and my primary Chris Pirillo account. But EA is apparently backtracking on Crystals, the purchase that... That one's really not that funny. The other one was hilarious. That's not...
You want the other one?
That's not really that funny, Liz.
Okay, I'll do another one.
That just looks like you happened upon a creepy old guy in an office, just like going, what?
That's pretty much.
No, use the other one. The other one was hilarious. This one's not funny. Wait until you see the second one. This is going to be the teaser for the Uncensored. I don't even know if we're going to be holding on to the Uncensored videos for posterity. I still don't know. It may be there and gone on the Twitch channel after TLDR's broadcast. Anyway, so they're getting rid of one of the micropayment systems initially. They say it's going to come back. I assume after some retooling. I want them to eliminate all the payment systems, or at least minimize all the payment systems, because I think that's part of the mess. But at least EA is listening. I will give them that. And at least y'all are listening. Von Goy comes in with #CPU. Yes! I told you. This super chat from Vaughn, he was one of those guys that was, listening to me. I just started ranting and raving, and I guess people love when I do that. What are you going to do? Now, speaking of Star Wars, before I move on to Tony Yoon's question 560. And by the way, Tony, congratulations on finally getting your iPhone 10. I first have to give a shout out to The Last Sith, and I'm pretty sure I got his handle correct. Let me make sure. I want to verify. I posted this on my Star Wars Radar channel. Yeah, The Last Sith has sent something I've wanted in my collection for years. The Imperial Stout Trooper, an unofficial beer. Now, the first labels that were released for this did not have the glasses and the nose with the mustache. It's a disguised stormtrooper. I'm a huge fan of stouts, love trying stouts, but he sent this for my collection. I'm actually going to open and drink this and keep this one, the big one, in the collection. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be drinking tomorrow to celebrate Life Day. The season begins. Can't wait. Now, he also sent along some of these molds. Not molds. There's Stormtrooper heads, some Vader heads, and some Yoda heads. Very nice for us to make crayons or ice cubes or whatever. And some little keychains that are definitely bootlegs. And I know they're bootlegs because he sent along this Vader with red eyes. I have the Vader with the white eyes. And so it's nice to have basically a variant. Sorry, that's the back of Vader. You can't really see Vader very well. Let me go ahead and hold up the Stormtrooper and Yoda. He sent all these things along. I love them. This is an amazing season for Star Wars gifts. Let me tell you. These are amazing gifts. So listen, if you press the Stormtrooper's head, the Stormtrooper marches. And listen to Yoda. This is seriously the weirdest Yoda I've ever heard. Now, maybe I missed that part in the movie when he was actually doing that. But this is Yoda's sound, but this is what Yoda sounds like. That's Bistan, by the way. Bistan is finally available as a figure. I've been waiting for so long, and they finally released him in a 2-pack. Bistan! Bistanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Bispanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone. That was just with 1.5 shots of caffeine. Just imagine if I had 2 full ones in me. That's what she said. Tony Yoon's question is, speaking of the iPhone, how do you think we can solve the Scalpers gray market? Not sure if you can, just don't encourage it. I've said that if we were able to fully fund the iPhone 10, the bigger issue is I have to wait for the funds to clear, because I've had certain situations where I've purchased based upon other promises, and those things end up getting rescinded, and then I end up footing the bill. Not happy about that. So, I'm going to probably have to wait a few weeks before I'm able to get an iPhone 10 after all the funds have cleared. It won't be immediate. But unless you absolutely need it, I would avoid paying scalper fees. There's no reason to pay scalper fees. I wouldn't encourage that. I've run into scalpers in the past. I went and bought one of those exclusive Funko Pop vinyl. It was around Force Friday this year, and the guy had tons of them, BB-90s, loaded in the cart. See, that one's funny. That one's like, someone walked into the room and like took a picture, right? That one's funny. And there's my little War on Christmas demi-tasse of, I wasn't kidding. I was actually drinking espresso there. It's not exactly a demi-tasse, but what are you going to do? So I think the way you get around it is you don't buy from them. Why would you buy from them? Just wait. You can wait. Trust me. I can wait 3 whole weeks or however long it is to get an iPhone 10. That's how I'm going to approach it. I realize by the time I get an iPhone 10, it'll be there and gone. And, people have already moved on to the next gadget. But you know me, I've always claimed that I'm the #1 gadget guy. I love hardware. That, by the way, was facetious. Look that up in your funkin' wagnalls. JHockey17 says, what do you think about platforms Xbox, PC, PS4 supporting cross-platform play? I would love it. I would adore it. I seriously would. I don't think it's necessarily in their respective best interests, but they solved certain problems for their platform. That's certainly a snag, or at least has been a snag of mine. I think it would also potentially make it easier to go with one platform or another. I'd be in. I'd absolutely be in. But unfortunately, because, they've got to control their own ecosystem, I don't think you're going to see that. You're going to have a better play when on, let's say, the same platform, when you can recognize that the developers have optimized it for that platform. Granted, you can save developers time by, optimizing for one kind of mutual streaming service and beyond. I am very incredibly hopeful in what I've seen at a distance of NVIDIA basically launching a web browser or web-based game type of service where you can play video games through your web browser with low latency and high-quality graphics. And apparently they're doing this for Mac users. It's in beta. I don't know if I'd buy into the service necessarily, but man, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be inclined to play more video games like that here than I would any other way. Like, if I could just play video games by way of a web browser, sign me up. And they're doing it. NVIDIA's doing it. I think it's genius. I think it gets around so many freaking problems of that kind of cross-platform type of play where you just don't have to worry about the platform you're running on. You just pick up your controller and go. I'm in. Liz reminds us to get gift cards courtesy of go.tagjag.com/free points. You can do it right now on iOS or Android. Another thing I want to bring up from the community before I go on to the next super chat, VT Productions PC, Mario just asked a super chat. You'll see his name pop up here behind you, and just behind me, in front of you, if I can move my carafe of green tea out of the way. People have asked about giveaways. Like, hey, Chris, if you get the iPhone 10, what are you going to do with the iPhone 8 Plus? Dude, I don't know, is the answer to the question. But the last thing I'm going to do is give it away. And not because I don't love you, not because I don't think you're worth, giving away things too. I feel I give away enough on a daily basis, giving away time, giving away expertise, giving away attention, giving what I give you on a regular basis, whether you're a listener, a watcher, or a supporter. The intention, though, of a giveaway, I think, is to get attention. And the problem that I've had in all the years on this planet in being involved with those types of giveaways is inevitably people get hurt. And people feel like they were swindled. And people don't come there for the content. They come for the free stuff. Well, here's the free stuff. What you're watching. Unless you're paying by YouTube Red, or you're a sub, or you're a patron, or you're a super chatter. So, I don't do giveaways. I don't want to do giveaways. It's not a good idea. If you want giveaways, head over to deals.lockergnome.com. This is something I want to remind you of every day. Deals.lockergnome.com. You can get as many giveaways as you want right now. I think we're giving away an iPhone 10. So, there you go. You want giveaways? There's your giveaways, man. Okay? So, can we just move on from the whole giveaway talk then? Thanks.
One giveaway, a Spotify giveaway, a Google Pixel giveaway, iPhone 10 giveaway, and a best-selling tech bundle giveaway. So, 6 giveaways.
There you go. Giveaways. How did we do yesterday? I can't find to replay. It's there. It's just still unlisted. We'll be making it public tonight. So you can tune in, or head to the Chris Pirillo channel, turn on notifications. A lot of people actually watched it unlisted. I noticed even, because the problem was, what happened, it was bizarre if you saw it, effectively, the 3 hours of content that we did are just about, were compressed down into minutes. 3 hours became 3 minutes, and it was just really bizarre. So they fixed it. They addressed the issue. I'm very grateful they did, because I didn't really want to lose that. I ended up editing, and I don't know if this is going to take the first 15 minutes out, because Jedi was here, and it was really, I thought everything was going to be good, but it's just like, okay, Jedi, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm like, that's just not a fun way of starting a live stream. If it does stay and doesn't get edited out as I did, well, then just know that we eventually moved beyond it and wound up talking about veganism toward the end of the live stream. Paul Carey comes in with a super chat, says, "Hi, Chris. I have a startup software company, cool, in Australia called KCO Soft, pronounced KCO Soft. We currently have 8 apps on iOS and Android. Do you have any advice on how to protect potential investors?" Well, that's a good business question. I like business questions. The thing is, you're entering a flooded marketplace with apps, and unless your app does something radically different, you've got to work through the system and all the benefits of an app store, whether you're talking about Google Play or iOS's app store or the Mac app store. Apps are a commodity. So you've got an uphill battle. So then you've got to answer the question, what am I going to do to create a product that is a standout? Now, if you're giving these products away for free, as many people do, that's one way of certainly getting some amount of attention. But if you're releasing apps that, have already been released, let's say for argument's sake, I don't know your company, a calculator app. Well, what does your calculator app do that no other calculator apps do? That people are clamoring for, that people absolutely want and need and love and desire. What do your apps do that fundamentally can't be done with other apps? So I can, just think of a couple things off the top of my head. So you've got a range of apps. I don't know if they're similar, but, what if the value of buying one app and another app and another app is that you can make them all look the same? So you can effectively skin the apps. That's been a popular thing, especially with Android. But, that way you're inclined to, get the Notes app that has this kind of look and feel and icon set, and then the equivalent Tasks app or whatever it is. Creating those value adds for a user so that they're hooked not just on one, but your entire range of apps, whatever they happen to be. You're going to have to play the SEO game. You're going to have to definitely work your way through optimizing specifically for search. Search is going to draw a lot of people. Now, you could also connect with potential influencers. That's another strategy people have used. I don't know what kind of apps you have. I don't know what the value add is, but this is where it's going to be painstakingly a process to effectively find a way to get to a base and to grow that base. Unfortunately, anymore, just creating an app is not enough. I mean, the app attrition problem is something that even popular app developers run into. It's not about the quality of the app. It's not about the speed of the app. That's not necessarily going to win someone over. You have to find what that is. I don't have an answer to that question because I don't know, apart from what you just said right here, in terms of what it is that you've done. You have to create value adds. You have to effectively market to that intended audience in a way that they're going to see it, and more importantly, they're going to stick with you. I don't have an answer to that question. It could be one of those apps becomes a breakout app or a breakaway app, like in terms of the thing that draws everything in. And what is that? Again, I don't know. I don't know what those users are clamoring for, the users that you intend to go after. You've got to think about yourself as that app, purveyor. It takes a lot for me to stick with an app. I talked about this a few months ago. I'll download an app, I'll try it. Like 30 seconds later, I'll know whether or not I want to keep it. That's just a fact. Because if it doesn't do something amazingly well, I'm done. So keeping an app, or even, holding on to it doesn't mean much to me. What's your value add? That's the thing you've got to, that thing that people get to know you for. You've got to create that hook. Create the hook. And hopefully I've tripped through something that's possibly inspired you. I'd be happy to talk, extensively about it, but I definitely have to move on. Tony Yoon comes in. Then what is the fate of the 10 after you reviewed it, considering you don't like it at all? Will Diana take charge of it? No, I will not allow an iPhone 10 to be used by any other person in the house, Pixie's going to use it. It's Pixie's phone. Pixie, come here. People think you're dead. Come here. Come here, Pixie.
Pixie.
You were just right there. Come on.
Pixie.
She's very old and she's losing her hearing.
Pixie, go there.
Come here, Bill.
Go see Daddy.
Pixie, over here. She is absolutely losing her hearing.
Aw, poor Pixie.
All right, baby. Okay, Pixie, what do you think about using the iPhone 10? Oh, well, guess we got our answer. Guess we got our answer. Senility.
And you will not see Wicket because he's too naughty.
Oh, Wicket. Oh, Wicket. I genuinely don't know. If anything, I don't know. That's the answer. Is I don't know. I'd be inclined to pass the 8 Plus to Diana. She's making her bed right now on the Darth Vader bed down there. Pixie, not Liz. She's got an iPhone 7 Plus, so I think the prospect of her making that shift wouldn't be too much of a deal. I don't know though if she would want the 10 over the 8 Plus, depending on usability. Certainly, I'd have her use both. If she wants to use that 10 after the fact, who am I to argue? I'm absolutely not going to argue. I don't know what that answer is, though. I can tell you after picking up the iPhone 7, I needed to help her with something. I'm like, man, so janky, so nasty. iOS is so nasty. iOS is disgusting, is what it is. Diana will love the size of the 10, possibly. Yeah, it is entirely possible. She doesn't mind the larger phones or not. She abuses those though, and so here's the problem. So if y'all really want Diana, I'm gonna kick it up a notch. You gotta let Zach know. If y'all really want Diana to use the iPhone 10, we're gonna have to bump up the fee because I'd have to get Apple Care Plus because she abuses her devices. And when I say abuse, like what is this? This is not even an element known to man that you got on the phone screen. What is this? Serious, I'm not slagging her. I'm just saying it's just a practicality. Like, there's no way I would trust her with that device. It's worth too much. That's the thing that would make me nervous. So if that's the case, then we definitely have to move that needle north. I'm telling you, I don't want to be out.
Blaze in the YouTube comments also suggested that if you want advice to use Creator Advocate.
Oh, yeah, you can use Creator Advocate, although, I mean, app creators, I suppose, would be under that range. I've given a lot of entrepreneurial advice. I actually, once we've got a plan more formalized, may start doing live Q&A for creators and entrepreneurs, possibly on the other YouTube channel for Creator Advocate, possibly on Facebook. I haven't decided, which one, or I don't really know which one is ultimately going to draw the more amount of attention. That's not necessarily an ad revenue play. It's more of a subscription play. And we'll see how that goes. But that's creatoradvocate.com. If you can't fund the 10, will you buy the OP5T instead? No, I doubt it. Because I'd have to requisition it to Apple because some people wouldn't want those funds to be redirected to Android. UAG case, problem solved. Kind of. You also need the screen protector. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's not as simple. You don't know Diana. That's what I'm going to say. You don't know Diana. I don't know Diana. I don't know what that's going to be. When I do my side-by-side, I don't have an answer to this. I don't know if the go-to device that I need to use is the one that Apple sees as the future, or if I'm going to stick firmly in the past. I don't know. What's going to service you better? I don't know. So it's something that I have to consider. Like if this is what Apple's direction is, to give it a fair shake, it's sad. I can't pay attention to the iOS device that I would prefer to use because that's what Apple sees. So it's not as clean cut or simple as handing Diana an iPhone 10. Hang on, let's scroll down. Sent back the 10 today. Oh, look at all the. Don't you love Discord? You need to join Discord for emoji. Okay, that's it. You get Chris Pirillo emoji and everything. Look at that. Michael Jacobs sent back the 10 today. You see that? And You don't get these fun emoji on YouTube. You can only get it on Discord. Become a patron. Become a sub. It's easy to do. And it's fun. OP5T. I'd like to try one. There's a rumor suggesting that there's going to be a Star Wars 1+5T. Didn't hear anything about it today. I'd be interested. Nervous because of what I've seen and heard about their software. They're going to be under fire, seemingly, indefinitely. But they never got back to me. But I would like to try one. Yes, I would. Maybe what we do is, what we'll do is that maybe what we can do is this. Maybe after we're through this iPhone 10 thing, whether or not we make it, then we'll do another one for an Android device drive, like we did last night. So what we can do is say the super chats that go in that video, you get to tag one phone. You want it to go to the OnePlus, you want it to go to the Razr, you want it to go to Flagship X, or just whatever. Because then, if we raise that amount of funds, I can turn around and get those devices. You understand what I'm saying? Those are a heck of a lot more affordable too. But maybe we'll do that. So then you can kind of decide for that Android experience. Does that make sense? We can do one of those like maybe once a month, like the Android device drive, and then all the super chats go to that. You know what? No one's forcing you to do it. I'm just asking because I can't justify or recoup the costs. But I'd be happy to try something like that. Maybe in a few weeks we'll do that after the iPhone 10 has come down. In 5 more years, are you still going to do YouTube video until you die? I don't know. I really don't. I'm happy doing video. I love doing live video. It doesn't really fit the type of model that I think makes for a successful YouTuber, but I've never really fit the model. I like talking. I like interaction. I like helping. I like enabling. But when it gets to the point where I just can't do it, that's when I don't do it anymore. Holy cow! That's the most emojis I've got. Yeah, no, this is what you get in Discord chat. You get all the emoji. Is Samsung Bixby good? Have no idea. Haven't tried it. Don't have a Samsung Note 8 yet, and allegedly I'm getting one soon. Yasser says Jank City in the house. Uh-oh. Wait, what did Yasser say? Oh, return the Pixel 2 XL and iPhone 10. Note 8 in the house. Yeah, I've heard about jank on the Note 8. Can't speak to it, though. Don't have it yet. Ask Dez says that he's got one on order, but I'm not in control of that. See, if we would have done a device drive fund, I would be in control of it. You would be in control of it. That's what I want. I'd rather you be in control of these things and not me. That way I know I'm able to give you what it is you want rather than guessing. Talking about Siri versus Google Assistant. I have no idea if anybody's going to care about that video. Did anybody care? Have people been caring about that video? That's what happens when you're not at a phone launch on the day the phone launches. I'm not going to travel to New York to look at a phone.
Doing pretty well.
All right.
Someone in the comments, and it's something that you dealt with earlier, people are upset with you doing device drive.
Well, let them be. Okay? And? Were you upset because of the clothes I wear, too? I mean, if it doesn't impact your life, move on. I should table this discussion for Chris Pirillo Uncensored later, because I got my feelings. You don't want it, then move on. I even wrote this out. I'm like, dude, if you don't want to participate, don't. You don't have to. It's just an option, folks. Nobody's telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving everybody an opportunity. That's all. It's like holding a door open for you. It's your choice whether or not you're going to walk through it. Don't get mad at me for holding open the door. That's not fair, and that's not right. I've been transparent. I've been direct. I'm not hiding anything. I've been very, very clear. So, this is not... I hate to say it, it's not my problem. Tony Yoon comes in with a super chat and says, if we are in control and if the supporters collectively wish there was a giveaway between the supporters, would that change your mind? No, it would not. Because, again, it turns... Tony, I hear you, but it turns into a contest, and that's got legal ramifications. And inevitably, no is the answer. And here's why. Because then people concentrate on the chance to get something rather than accepting what it is. And that is whatever's been laid out, not the actual physical product itself. Some people feel differently about that. That's fine. I'm not taking away from what other people feel about giveaways. But I'm just telling you, it just doesn't... It never sat well with me. And I've just learned it just engenders negativity. Liz has had similar experiences or seen similar experiences from other communities. It actually gets people angry and causes fights between one another. It's just not a good thing. Good idea, great idea. But to me, it's like I tell the dogs, like, when they come in after peeing outside and, like, wanting a treat, I'm like, no, peeing is its own reward. I'm not saying that, I'm not equating what I do to that. I'm just saying that.
Danny, who I talked to at length today.
Look at that. Danny AR's there.
He said it's worked out on plenty of channels. It's a return on investment. So.
It's a return on investment. Fair enough. I'm glad for them. I'm not the other channels. You like those other channels? Support the other channels. You don't like the way I'm doing something? No one's keeping you here. Hang on. Where's that article I wrote about giveaways? Because I wrote this years ago. It's a total waste. I'm telling you, man. Give me a second. Now you're making me do this. Because this is the thing that I tell all the brands that say, hey, we can do a giveaway. I said, hey, it's a really bad idea. It's a really bad idea for several reasons. Give me a second. You're making me do this. See, I told you dictate the content. Give away. I didn't even blog it. It's like a private document because it's not even say why I think giveaways are a bad idea. Let me count the ways. 1. The people who typically participate in giveaways aren't regular members of any community or typical brand supporters. They're people who leap from sweepstakes to sweepstakes for a free lunch. They might boost some numbers, but the inflation is usually full of hot air. 2. The people who participate in giveaways are there for the giveaway and promptly disappear, typically, after all gifts have been claimed. They remain a follower, but they don't regularly engage for something apart from a free lunch. And then they're not a customer. They're a sycophantic parasite. 3. The people who truly matter in the average campaign are not rewarded. And the people who truly matter don't necessarily care about receiving a handout. The people who want something from your giveaway don't necessarily want the thing you're wanting them to want. And I think that's critical. People aren't here because I'm giving something away. I don't want the giveaway to be the focus. You want giveaways?
You do giveaways.
Go to deals.lockergnome.com. If you want me to come over there and type it into your web browser, I could do that. I think that would be overkill, though. 4. The people who don't win, this is true. In all my years of doing this, the people who don't win sometimes feel like they were wronged. Accusations of cheating, rigging, and or general foul play get thrown about if an average free lunch participant feels that fairness wasn't afoot, even if it was. You expose yourself and the brand to undue scrutiny and negativity, but if one person stirs up, if just one person stirs up a tempest in a teapot, just takes one person. 5, and this is it. You're lucky. I stopped at 5. 5. I wrote this how many years ago? 5, 7 years ago? I can't even remember how long ago. The people who cannot be addressed due to legal restrictions feel like they're being cast aside simply because you said that only certain people can participate in the giveaway. Instead of uniting a community, you're dividing it because it's near impossible to be inclusive with giveaways due to international rules and regulations. Period. End of story. You're not exposing yourself. The creator's exposing themselves. You think it's that easy. It's not. There are legal ramifications. And the moment I say, here it's a giveaway, here it's a random gift, then I can't. Then I have to keep people from participating because they live in another country. Trust me, that's not a good thing. It's negativity. This is an international community, and the way it plays out is I can only address it effectively in the United States if I don't want to land in hot water. So you're asking me, or you're telling me that I have to cut off the rest of the world just because other channels do it. No.
Okay.
This is what happens. This is what happens when Chris drinks caffeine. This is why Chris should drink less caffeine before going. I got hot. Man, you made me sweaty. Oof. Danny AR has no idea what he's talking about. Sorry, dude. I understand you think you do, and that's great, but let's move on. Because I've already stated the case, and you've got absolutely no foundation. Yeah, wait until it's uncensored. Just you wait. That's coming tonight over on the Twitch channel. I disagree with you on some things. People disagree. Oh, crap. Missed that.
Okay,
I'm okay with that. I enjoy life being me. There you go. Chase the A says, finally back to tech. My God, y'all never talk about tech anymore. Hang on, I will get to Jason's super chat in a second. I compared my 10 to the Pixel and the Note 8. The 10 and the Pixel 2 were closest and smoothest. Note 8, on the other hand. So, I actually read a nice article, I think it was on Android Authority today, talking about bit rot and effectively a decreased performance on Android devices over time. With the Note 8, you may be getting a lot more features up front, but you may be seeing decreased performance over time. And I would just as soon have fewer features, but a well-executed experience throughout the life cycle of that particular device, which is exactly why I'm proudly sticking with the Pixel. I should use that term very loosely. Jason Wiltjer says, thank you for all the great videos. You are one of my favorites because I know that you say exactly what you see. Yeah, I do. Sometimes that's the problem. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I'm too direct, right? You know, someone gets me on a tear, someone like lights a fire under my foot, I'll respond. But then I've said, I'm done. I'm ready to move on. If I feel I've said everything I needed to say, sometimes I want to say more. Especially if I've thought about it. Especially if I've been through this ringer. But some people don't like that. I disagree with people all the time. All the time. Ask my family. Any one of them. Yeah, Tony, yeah, you should have asked that during the Uncensored. Yeah, no doubt. Oh, just you wait. Just you wait, man. If I don't worry about it, I'll just keep going. I'll say anything and I'll back what I'm saying. Agreed, Chris, no need for all these features. Yeah, they're nice to have, but not at the cost, to me, being a software guy, not at the cost of the performance of the device. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. To quote the great Dennis Miller, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Pezliz, for the record, that was an excellent answer to the giveaway question. What, mine?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Fucho. If you want to know, just wait till Uncensored. Wait, that's when I get to say Fucho's name correctly in the Uncensored videos. Rapaldi44 says if Apple could fix iOS, that'd be great. The iPhone 10 hardware-wise is perfection. But see, that's the thing. Someone called me out on this, and I tried to address it in today's other video. It's never been about the hardware, the iPhone 10, that was my problem. It's always been about the software and how the software wraps around the hardware shortcomings. So it's the software. It's the software. So how could you complain about hardware you haven't touched? Because I've seen the software. What do I look like I can't see? Maybe I do. I don't know. Yeah, Chase the Ace is saying exactly what I'm saying. Go elsewhere. Go to deals.LockerGnome.
That's not what Danny's saying, though.
Okay, may not be what he's saying. But what I'm saying is we're doing giveaways. If you want them. They've taken care of all the legalities over at deals.lockergnome.com. I don't want to deal with it. The LG V30 almost has it all. Great camera, speedy processor, huge OLED screen, excellent battery life, waterproofing, wireless charging, microSD storage, and the best headphone jack on a phone. The V30 is relatively stellar. I could not get past the hardware shortcomings, or I'm sorry, the software shortcomings, I apologize. Maybe if and when they throw Oreo on there, I'll give it another shot. But I would have been satisfied, mostly satisfied with the V30, minus the camera. I was not impressed with the camera at all in comparison, certainly to the Pixel or the iPhone, and I think those two they compare more favorably to one another. I mean, there are definitely some big difference. AJ says, we didn't see eye to eye last night when I confronted you about my opinion, but I do respect the insight you've given me. Oh, dude, don't worry about it. It's an anomaly that we can ever see eye to eye on this stuff. Just think about all the technology choices you make, right? And all the technology choices I make from my perspective, from where I sit. It's always going to be different. Just because I like to watch the Orville, can't wait to watch tonight's episode, and decided not to pay for Star Trek in how they're producing it, the new Star Trek, whatever it's called, we can disagree on which one's better. It's just a better choice for us. Just go back and watch some of the videos I did like 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. And I've always taken the position of, it's relative. What's good for you, what's better for you may not be for somebody else. How's my Surface Book? Asked Ben98. The Surface Book 2 is out. I don't have a Surface Book. Never got one. I'm not in the review cycle there. I know people at Microsoft, but I'm not a part of that review cycle. Shrug emoji. He is angry at me as me at points. Oh yeah, sometimes I get some, but I'm Italian. I mean, I'm not saying that's an excuse. It's just I get fired up about stuff. I never, unless it becomes personal, I never take it personally. And very rarely, if I feel like, dude, this is going nowhere, then I'm done. Desk flip, right? You know. Paul Carey says, I can make an app that will make the notch disappear. Why does Apple prevent devs from doing this in the iPhone 10? It's so much better. Thank you for the super chat. 1, 2, the reason why is because it's branding. It's a branding exercise. I've been saying that from pretty much the beginning of the iPhone 10 kerfuffle. They can. They won't. It's just not their thing. It's not what they want to do. They want to make it stand. They want to make it stand out. Because then people know you spent over $1,000 on a phone. It's a luxury item. It's a status symbol. It's not an achievement of technology so much as an achievement of we can make these people pay for anything. I'm just saying. They push their limits. I couldn't sit here and say, all right, everybody, you know what? I want that Lego Millennium Falcon, the big one that costs $800. I want to get that Lego Millennium Falcon, but, you know, I need your help to get it. I don't think that would happen. I really don't. I know y'all love me. You may even love Star Wars. You may love Lego as much as I do. But I couldn't make that happen because it is not a fit for the audience, and I just don't think that it would work all that well. That's in stark contrast to something that I know you want from me, and that is more insight, more hands-on than I can do on my own. So it's not about taking advantage of a community in terms of what Apple is doing. It's just that the notch is a status symbol, nothing less. A status symbol. Apple's proving that point. You know, there's nothing that it provides that's, you know, light years beyond what we're already able to I guess, have in the palm of our hands through any other device. It does things differently, but not that radically different, in my estimation. Well, if the notch turns you on, Chase the Ace, that's just great. That's just awesome. BenZ98 says, I'm pretty much enjoying the lightness, ease of carrying while traveling without having to pay full price. Used device doesn't cause negative experience. Not sure I understand the context of that. But hey, you know, if it's fine for you, it's fine for me. I'm not going to tell you that what you're choosing is wrong. I'm just going to call it like I see it. And I've yet to be proven otherwise. Or I've yet to see evidence to the contrary that it's not a status symbol in how they're approaching it. It's a branding exercise. It's a step backwards in terms of a cohesive design, a balanced design. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Oh, I should have had more green tea instead of coffee before this. No, I don't do. I played World of Warcraft like once for like 15 minutes. I'm like, I cannot lose time to this. Like I had more important things to do. Hindsight 2020, I probably should have played Warcraft. Nope, didn't even get into Minecraft. I'm not much of a game guy. I don't play a lot of games. If I do, they're casuals, pick up, put down. We'll see what happens with Battlefront. There's still a matter of where I'm going to be streaming it. May try a little bit on YouTube, see how that works. I'll try a little bit on my Twitch channel to see how that works. I'll try a little bit on the Star Wars Radar Twitch YouTube channel. I don't know where I'm going to be streaming that yet. It depends on where I see the most amount of engagement or the most amount of support for doing something like that. And that is streaming me playing games. Not like everybody else, though. I don't have the fancy setup with the chair and you're looking at the face of me as I'm playing. I don't have that setup. I'm just in the master bedroom where we've connected the Darth Vader PS4. And very often I'm probably going to be laying back, towards the headboard playing the game. You can't see my face, or I may be up close and playing like this, and then you can see the bed in the bedroom playing that game. Oh, Pixie just made herself at home. She dragged the bed out and came out from underneath the desk. We're letting them, well, I'm not letting Wicket roam around, but I've been letting Pixie come up as of late. She's been really nice. 2 hours and 15 minutes to go till Battlefront 2. Well, I gotta wait another day or two before my disc gets in there. Yeah, Mr. Physical over here. Still got the disc, but I saved $10. I was not gonna pay full price for Battlefront. Why? If I'm getting the same thing, I already got the one thing I wanted from Battlefront, and that was the exclusive figure. That's all I wanted. And if I could, effectively recoup the costs through super chats or cheers or subs on Twitch after playing Battlefront, then I'd be bowled over. Someone asked what character I played, however short, in World of Warcraft. I couldn't even tell you. Couldn't tell you. It was that short. I was like, I get it, but I'm like, and the guy who showed me, he was like doing raids and things like this, and he was supposed to be helping me with a variety of tasks. But every time I turned around, that's all he was doing was World of Warcraft. I'm like, he never did complete half those tasks. He may be wowing to this day. Couldn't tell you. My new cup lid keeps blocking the camera. Sorry. I wish... maybe I shouldn't be using this at the time, but it's the best little container because it keeps the tea warm, which is nice, and it's still steamy. Can you see the steam? No, it's still steamy. It's been sitting in there that long. I love it.
Ben's98 said, "What's for dinner?" And then I corrected him and I said, "Supper."
Well, for dinner, Diana made a potato, and then I'm going to be reheating some stuff. Liz made an amazing spread of onions, sautéed onions, no butter. Also, some what was the grain? Farro. And other like fake beef. Not that sounds bad.
No, that was
vegan beef.
Vegan sausage.
No oil in it either. I think we may end up going with that brand.
With apple and
good
peppers.
Stuff. Yummy. It was tasty. It was delicious. It was so filling. I'm not even hungry for dinner. That was lunch. I had a solid lunch thanks to Liz.
Supper?
No, if I meant supper, I would have said supper, Liz. What? Like,
should we have a vote?
Let's not have a vote. I don't have the feature to do polls on YouTube right now, so there's going to be No, I thought that was a thing in the beta.
You have it. I'm going to put a poll.
Well, I'm not going to do a poll for is it dinner or supper. What's the difference? In my estimation, nothing. Apart from regional colloquialisms. YouTube Live sucks, buffers like crazy. Twitch never does that. Yeah, Twitch is definitely a lot more immediate. I find I have a better time streaming onto Twitch than YouTube. And I found that, or I've discovered that in doing the recordings of the podcast on Twitch, which I'm still inclined to do, by the way. We'll still record the podcast during the broadcast of Chris Pirillo Uncensored. But that'll be the non-sweary part of the broadcast. Because I got to be careful about that too. I don't want to turn too many people away from the podcast. I remember calling it supper, but I could never even figure out the difference between dinner and supper. And why are we talking about dinner and supper?
Question from YouTube. I'll post.
Okay, because that let's get back to the questions. Any interest in checking out the Surface Book 2, maybe even just the Microsoft Store? Yeah, I'd be interested. I would. I absolutely would. I mean, with these leading devices, I'd be happy to take a look. It's just that I can't justify the cost. And, even if I walked in and did like an initial impressions, I'm not sure anybody would care. And I mean, I know you care. I know some people care. But it's not... I just don't think that there are enough people to pay attention to it. Even with the Pixel Book, it received just a fraction of the attention that the Pixel 2 XL did. Or even with the iPad, received a fraction of the attention than the iPhone did. Phones would drive an overarching amount of attention, not so much traditional computers. Someone says, I've seen some problems with Battlefront 2 from a YouTuber and Twitch streamer on their first player stream of it. It's turned me off to it. I prefer Battlefront and Battlefront 2 on PS2 than on PS4. I'm definitely a PS4 guy. It's just easy to turn it on and set it up and be done with it. And plus my brother's game on it. I don't know if I'm going to be joining them, but I just decided to stick with the PS4. It was simple enough. Dark Cloud says, I ordered an iPhone 10 today. Hope I don't regret it. I hope you don't either. I hope you never regret any decisions that you make. I'm fine in taking a hands or wait and see approach anymore. It's sometimes difficult, especially when content is dictated by these cycles. By the time I'm able to get one of these devices, the cycle will have moved on. This happened years ago. I finally got a hold of a device that was, I think it was an iPad. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a month later, and people were already telling me, dude, you're so late. I'm like, it's like a month later. So that's one of the bigger issues with devices. If you don't jump right now, you lost the content cycle. You've lost the velocity behind that, which is mind-numbingly frustrating. Especially if I want to take a look at something, especially if I want to share that advice with y'all, and when I know you're going to pay attention. Generally speaking, you don't pay attention to software issues that I bring up. And I don't mean you don't outright, but if I do a video and it's not about a piece of hardware, a new piece of hardware, it gets less traction. Maybe a little steady climb to some traction, but nothing like a hot button issue would attract in terms of attention. And it's been the same way for years. And unfortunately, without a regular flow of gadgetry in here, it's not as straightforward as you'd imagine. What?
I said Discord squirrel.
Okay. Would you have still purchased the Pixel if you knew about the hardware shortcomings before? Well, I knew it was on order when I saw people basically saying, hey, it's not a great screen. There are these problems and those problems. But I don't regret my decision. I still can't recommend it, wholeheartedly for others. But I think I still would have purchased it and gone through it, and I'd still be as satisfied as I currently am with the Pixel, despite the various shortcomings. There are shortcomings to everything. It's a matter of finding shortcomings that you can actually deal with. Michael Jacobs says, I'm loving my Pixel 2, and I have you to thank, Chris Pirillo. Thank you. Did you go with the 2 or the 2XL? Curious. I mean, I wanted something with the larger resolution, which is hardware, but it's very much in how it accommodates software. Which is most likely going to be the case with the iPhone 10, unfortunately. What? Oh, I'm a little out of sync there. Utterly irrelevant, says Anya. But have you seen the R2D2 coffee press? I have, and I actually have one. It was a gift from Jasmine, Slav, and Adele last year. I do. I've heard of it. Haven't used it. It's a collectible for me. I don't really use French press if I do make coffee at home, which isn't frequent. But it's pretty neat. It's a neat little thing. I like the kitchen accessories, the Star Wars tools that they seem to be releasing at a pretty good clip. Have you ever tried a 2-in-1 notebook laptop, and if so, thoughts? No, I don't think I have. Maybe the Surface Pro was it. The Yoga has just been released with the Star Wars theme. I've been meaning. I've recently made a couple of connections at Lenovo. Hoping to get a hold of their Star Wars hardware. They sent the Jedi Challenges, which the AR experience, which I've got to get set up and going. I'm looking forward to trying that, certainly. But that's one I would be thrilled to kind of use, depending on software and depending on speed. But I'm going to see if I can get a hold of that Star Wars Yoga. Hopefully the Imperial one, because it's red, and I like that color. Drunken Old Man says, what do you think would happen if your dad tried the 10? I would love to see his reaction. Oh, man. That would be pretty amazing. Maybe he'd be here around the time that I'd be getting one in another month or two. If that's to happen. But, yeah, I think he'd be really thrown off. I'd say, you figure it out. Here's some instructions. You do this to do that, and you do that to do this. But, you figure it out. What do you think? And I don't know what he's going to think. I think he'd probably compare the screen resolution, or the size, like what feels smaller in my hand versus the bigger phone. I don't have an answer to that question, unfortunately, because I don't know. That's my feeling, though. I don't think he'd be inclined to chuck it across the room, but it's definitely a different usability paradigm. The 2, but the XL kind of looks tempting. Depends on if you want something that is, it's different. The screen is different. I find that certain things may be a bit more fluid on the 2 than the 2XL, but not so dramatically different that I want to lose the resolution that I currently have on the 2XL. YouTube chat says, what do you think about the Huawei P10 Pro? Haven't looked into it that much. Honestly, a lot of people haven't asked about it. The proposition of me getting one, or the possibility, or between slim and none. So I don't have many thoughts. I switched from the 7 Plus, says someone on YouTube, back to the regular Pixel 2 and haven't looked back. Don't even miss iMessage that much, and that was my main factor. That's what I'm saying. People, I think you are tied into iMessage so deeply you don't realize that it's not that much of a draw. It was so relatively simple. I ran into a couple of snags, and largely due to Apple's shortcomings. But I feel that the Pixel 2 is definitely a better device than the iPhone 7. I feel that way. Maybe price notwithstanding, I think the Android experience, as I said, is relatively stellar compared to iOS on any of the modern iOS devices. What would be your rap name? A lol random question. I don't know. C Pity?
Chris P.
Oh yeah, I'm Chris P. I'm the original Chris P. I know everyone else is trying to take that and brand that as a word for videos, but I'm like, hey, I'm the Chris P. I'm the only Chris P that I know of. Crispy. Speaking of crispy, I will be getting crispy tonight. No, that sounded bad. I think, isn't that a euphemism for
Yeah.
something else that's legal in the state of Washington, for whatever it's worth? I will not be getting that kind of crispy. What I was trying to say is that we'll be doing Chris Pirillo Uncensored at twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo tonight, so you're going to be welcome to join us. I'll be very snarky. I'll be very bitey. Don't take anything personally. When I do, I'll probably be getting sweary, and that video will not be around for posterity. So if you don't watch live, the chances of you ever interacting or having fun with it are between slim and none. Maybe bits and pieces will be clipped out. I don't think you can edit video after the fact, though, on Twitch. Can you?
I think you can download it and edit.
Yeah, I don't want to download and edit that stuff. I'm getting ready. I'm preparing myself. Twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo is where you can go. When you had the 2 and the 2XL, did you notice the photos were darker on the 2? Mine look darker. Maybe it's just me. I can definitely tell you that the screen definitely makes the blacks kind of blend. It's not. I don't feel that the 2XL screen is better than the screen, let's say, on the iPhone 8 Plus. I like LCD screens. I like certain elements of OLED screens, but I really like certain elements differently, I guess, on LCD screens. The difference is quite honestly night and day for me, but it's going to be different for everybody. So to me, the difference between the screen, once I got past the color saturation, etc., I hinged everything upon that, the resolution, being able to drive a resolution. I like having a greater resolution on the devices, personally. What time is the Twitch live video? Chase the Ace asks. It is, well, number one, you should turn on notifications or whatever on Twitch, because if you don't, then you don't know when I'm streaming there. But it's pretty much happening right after this live broadcast. I'm going to roll pretty much right into it. Twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. Oh, hang on. Diana says that she's on her way back from story time. Ooh. Whoa. Is that for sale? Whoa. Sorry, I have to ask. Dude. Yeah, I know, she's at like one of those cheapy places. Look at that. A Kylo Ren, a Boba Fett. Dude. That's amazing. Yeah, look at all those playing cards. Oh, yeah. Get one of each. Get a couple of each, dude, if they're $1. Whoa. That Kylo Ren? Okay, let me see. I just love this. Question mark, $. That's crazy. Dude, they're giving them away. They're practically giving them away. I love that. I'm slow on upgrading a phone still on Nexus 4. It's a phone. It works. Dude, I really liked the Nexus 4. It was my first favorite Android device. I'd say my current favorite Android device is the one I'm using. I think that's somewhat obvious. I'm not sure if Google's going to do much to perfect its hardware. I don't think they want to outshine their OEMs. They should. They should make it a stellar hardware, software, AI experience. I don't think they met the expectations with hardware. Do you think it's time now to switch from iOS to Android? Ooh, man, that's a loaded question. Write that. Can you write that down or like email it to me, Liz? Because that I want to answer that question as a dedicated video on the other channel. Because not only did you ask the question in TLDR, but I think a lot of people are straddling that line. And I want to answer it. I want to dedicate that video to that question. It's a fair question. get their name and everything as we document, because I want to make sure they get credit for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start winding down, folks. Thank you again for joining. All the super chats, wonderful. The super chats actually help cover TLDR, because we don't make anything with ads here. YouTube Red, if you're a subscriber to YouTube Red, that also helps by a massive degree for the support here. Then, of course, you can join us in Discord chat. If you become a sub of mine on Twitch, twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. Stay there anyway, because we're going to be doing Chris Pirillo Uncensored in and around the podcast recording. And you can also join Discord chat by heading over to the patreon.com/Chris Pirillo. Links are in the video description. So this is what we're going to be teasing out in just a few minutes in terms of a link to the Twitch channel. It'll be an IRL. Time for Chris farts.
Oh my! There's someone in the room.
Well, I can't help it, man. If my subs tell me to do something, I gotta do it, Liz.
I did not see a super chat for that.
What? Didn't need to be a super chat. That's a sub. A sub asked that.
Who said the speeding cheetah? You're in trouble.
Well, don't blame Speeding Cheetah. He can't help his requests. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna do everything for subs. I'm not gonna do anything for subs.
No.
Pixie's still there. She's fine.
Jolt Central said no sponsor button active on YouTube streams yet.
Well, what? Well, hang on. The only way to enable the sponsor button is to be a gaming channel. So I have to game on the Star Wars Radar YouTube channel almost daily. And so I'm probably, for that, I'll get into it again later. But with Battlefront, I'll probably do an hour on YouTube, then an hour on Twitch to see which one gets higher engagement. But to effectively do that, because I don't know where the community is going to want me to play that kind of stuff. Okay, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you over on the Twitch channel with all the subs and everything in just a few moments for the recording of the podcast and Chris Pirillo Uncensored TLDR After Dark. At this point, however, I may be leaving you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.